You guys will all be excited to know that I got a new pocket knife. You're wondering what that has to do with taking this offering up. But I recently started watching this guy. I've loved pocket knives as a kid. I loved pocket knives, and I'd sneak into Dad's room where he kept them in his dresser drawer, and I'd open them up and close them and snap them closed and play with them as a kid until I cut my finger and pinched it in between one of the blades, and then I'd bleed, and Dad would get mad for me playing with his knives. But I love pocket knives my whole life, and more so lately because I started watching this guy. He's called the Knife Doctor on YouTube, and I started watching him, and he goes to auctions and flea markets and antique stores, and he buys old pocket knives, and he brings them home. The first video I watched, he brought home an old Case XX Barlow, and it was disgusting looking. It was dirty, it was greasy, it was rusted, it was crusted. It had pocket lint stuck down in there that was probably 40 years old down in where the blades fold in at. And he took that knife, and he's got some tools there, a microfiber wheel and some things, a Dremel tool, and he starts cleaning on that knife. He paid $5 for it. And he cleans it up, and I mean, he makes this knife look beautiful. And ends up, that knife is worth like $350, $400 that he fixed up, that he he intrigued me the way he does. He's got a great spirit about him. His name is Kevin, and he's just fun to watch. Just a humble guy, and just really, really fun to watch as he restores these old knives, and it's kind of piqued my interest in it. I had a lot of the same tools, and so I'm driving Lindy crazy right now. We stop at flea markets and antique stores, and she just looks at me like, are we stopping at this one too? Stop at barn sales, at wherever, and I'm looking for old knives all the time now. That's what I like doing. I like fixing up old knives. I bought this one yesterday at the flea market, and it was crusty and dirty and rusted and crusted, full of lint. It's kind of gross digging somebody else's lint that's probably 20 years old out of the knife. But I cleaned it all up. I shined it all up. It's a Trade Old Timer that is a FFA, Future Farmers of America edition, specialty edition. I looked it up, and they're on sale on eBay for $180 to $200. I paid $10 for it yesterday. And I say all that, you say, we don't care about your knives, Mark. But I was sitting there praying this morning, and apparently I had knives on my mind while I was praying. But God spoke into my heart, and he said, the Knife Doctor is kind of like this church. We see people come in here that life has wore them out. Life has destroyed them. He said a lot of these knives get thrown in that kitchen junk drawer that he finds, and they've laid in there for 20, 30 years till they go to an estate sale and end up at an auction or at a flea market. Some of you were like that. Some of you come in here. We've had heroin addicts come in here. We've had alcoholics, just all different kinds of people that life has wore you out. And they said they're good for nothing. They're useless. They're worthless. They're dirty. They're crusted over. They're covered with that filth of sin. And I thought, I love this church. I love bragging on this church because what I've seen from you guys is you guys bring that love of Jesus in here, and you're kind of like that microfiber wheel. You just start cleaning them up. You start loving them. I thought I'd give Bev a hard time all the time about I call her Crazy Bev because nobody can get in this church without her getting to them. But I tell you what, Bev's got a ministry. Bev loves on people. She rubs on people. She cleans people up. And I'm telling you, we've seen lives transform, just like the Knife Doctor transforms knives. And we've seen people come into this church. And I thought today, if you came in here and you're covered up and And the corrosion and the crust that's on you might be depression. It might be despair. It could be any number of things. It might be drugs. It might be alcohol. It might be perversion. It might be anything. But I tell you what, this church, if you come here, this church is going to love on you. They're going to clean you up. They're going to help lead you to Jesus. They're going to lead you to the one who can clean you up for sure. And I thought, I'm so proud of this church, so proud of all that you guys do here. And ushers, if you'll come, we're going to